Alright, in this video we're going to start talking about the individual panels that we use in Adobe Premiere. We're going to begin with what's called the project panel. Let's jump in. So we are once again in the editing workspace of Adobe Premiere. That's the basic layout. If you're not seeing this, remember 3 bars under editing and reset to saved layout. This will reset everything back to what you see here. Now I have in my project panel, which once again is in the bottom left, I have 2 projects open. One that I haven't really begun and one that I have a bunch of clips in. So orientation and interview. Now to go back to our orientation, project panel generally is where we're going to find all of our clips that we have brought into Adobe Premiere that we can work with, that we can bring into the timeline, that we can open in the source monitor, cut up, and then bring those individual clips into the timeline if we wanted to. Graphics, audio, sound bites, any kind of photos, voiceovers, all of these will appear within a project within the project folder or project panel. So if we take a look at this, and I'm going to actually grab this black horizontal line here and expand it up. As I said in an earlier video, you can always reorient this screen if it's not the most helpful for you. So this allows me to make this panel a little bit larger so that we can see what's going on. Now in the project panel I have project interview example 5 selected. Now there's several other things that are available within the project panel. If we look, we have our media browser, libraries, info, effects, markers, and history. If I click these 2 arrows, we can see them all laid out before us. The primary ones we're going to probably use are any projects that are open and then the media browser. Let's go ahead and take a look at project interview 5, example 5. So here we actually have all of the clips that I've brought in for this project. Now you can see that I've used some of them over here. But how do I know what project or what clips are what? Well, if I look at individual clips, let's take a look at some of the things that are associated with each clip. Each clip, when I look at it in thumbnail mode, and as we talked about in the last video, there are 2 different ways we can look at clips. List view, like this, and thumbnail view, or icon view as they call it, which shows us the individual icons. If we want them to be larger, we can grab the slider and zoom in, or make them smaller and see more on the screen. I'm going to go to about this size so that we can talk about them individually. Now, as I said, each clip in our project panel is stored under a larger project. Now, when we bring them in, we choose what project they want to be in, or we want them to be in, and then they have several things that are associated with them. Let's go ahead and take a look at what those things are. Now, if we take a look at these individual clips, they all have several things associated with them. The first that I want to draw your attention to is the name. Every clip has a name. Some of these can be very specific. Some of them may be more generic if your camera is filing these. This one, for example, is called Clip 4. If I move my mouse over it and leave it here for just a moment, it'll give me some details about this clip. So frame size 1920 by 1080, frame rate 29.97 frames per second, as well as duration and so forth and so on. This duration on the far right shows you the duration of the clip or the duration of a trimmed clip. Now let me make clear something that we'll discuss later. when I say a trimmed clip, I mean that this would be a clip where you've had the full raw video, and then you've opened it in the source monitor, and then you've decided you want only a piece of it and use it in your timeline, to use in your timeline. So it's not the full duration, but it is a smaller duration, a smaller selected duration. Let's say that. So for example, if I look across the bottom and I see that this line is completely blue or completely black, that means that this is the full duration, 28 seconds. If I move down, and let's find, this is a good example. Clip 12, and I see that I have just an individual area of blue within this timeline. There's a little playhead again here that allow me to scrub through and see what this clip is. This tells me that this is a clip that I have used, and that this is the section that is currently in use, or one of the sections that is currently selected. If I double clicked it to bring it into my source monitor, you can see that there's a selection that has already been made from this clip. You can also tell whether a clip is currently in use based on what color the clip identifiers are. The clip identifiers are these two icons, or these icons I would say, here in the bottom right. This clip, for example, has video and audio. Video is this film strip, audio is this waveform. If we go down and we look at something like this clip has video. You can see it. It has audio, but because it's gray, you can tell that it is not being used in this project or in this timeline sequence. Here, both the video and the audio are being used in the timeline sequence. We can also see exactly what area is being used. Now, all of that is associated with each individual clip. I'm going to zoom back out. So, looking at it in icon view, you have the opportunity to get a variety of different pieces of information at just a glance. It's pretty helpful if you're trying to edit together a sequence. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of other items that are available to you, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. So, we've got our clips here in icon view. You can look at it in list view and you can see a ton of information as well. I'm just going to scroll over to the side. A lot of things that are available here as well. But to move on, you also have the ability to search for individual clips. So for example, if I know that there is a clip 4, it'll bring that up. Or even number 4, number 8. These will bring it up to where I see it on my screen. And allow me to filter the results. If there's a particular file that I'm looking for, something I know I've labeled a certain way, or a graphic or a logo, this is a great way of finding it very quickly. You also have the ability to create bins. Bins would be folders that you can put information in. So for example, here if I created a bin, I could call these interview bytes. So if I am doing an interview, I might break out the individual bytes of that interview, sound bites of the interview, and save them right there. I could put another bin or create another bin. Oh. There we go. Create another bin for logos. Or perhaps voiceovers. I like separating things into bins. This is a great way of making sure that you're organizing your clips. You also have new item. When you click New Item, there's a variety of different things that you can create. Sequences, shortcuts, offline files, adjustment layers, bars and tones, a ton of different fun things that you can do. We'll talk about that in a later video, but that's a good thing to know that know is there. You also could delete a file. So all of these are tools that are available within the project panel. There's one more that I want to make sure that we are aware of before ending this video. The final one that I want to call your attention to is the media browser. The media browser is where we would go to actually find things on SD cards, hard drives, or in our hard drive on our computer, and then bring them into folders that we can use later on. This is where we would actually do most of our importing. It's a great tool that we'll talk about in its own video, but the media browser is also located within the project panel. Okay, that's it for this video. It went a little bit long, I know, but there's a lot that you can do with the project panel, and it's something you're going to be going to again and again and again. One piece of advice before ending: organizing your files in the project panel is going to make your editing much more efficient. The more organized you are, the better your editing process is going to go. So if you can get your clips, voiceovers, B-roll, graphics, logos, if you can separate those out into bins and then know exactly where to go to get the different pieces you need to use, it's a wonderful workflow. Alright, that's it. We're going to jump in into the different monitors in the next videos. So I'll see you then. Bye.